Hello. Here so far, but I'm expectant, as always, that there will be more people. So I had to get myself prepped. So I still need to get water and let folks know we are live if they want to show up, but I know my people. So people will say they are putting down that they're going to come and they're going to attend and they will not be here, but it's all love. I said I am going to be here nonstop 21 days and you all are going to ride the momentum. So that is what I am going to believe. So as usual, I will start now, letting it be known that that we are live. So you'll see that posted on Turner's Church. For future reference, just a little housekeeping. I got to start following my little checklist, which I have up. As you see, as I always end up saying, you see the reflection in my glasses because I have a bigger monitor behind me, so I can talk to people at Turner's Church if they're having technical difficulties, or if for some reason I can't see the chat. There is a chat at the bottom on Turner's Church on the bottom right-hand corner. It might be here for you. I don't know, how do you see it? Where you can actually chat. If you are not my friend, friend me on Turner's Church. That way I can chat with you and see there if you want to type in any notes. So that's something you'll know every time going forward. And we're just going to have a good time and talk and review Javon's lessons, talk about the bubbles and the bears, and talk about life. So far, I've had a few people in and out since we started here on day 3. So it's all good. And I'm going to keep believing. And as I said, I'm trusting that people are going to be co-creating with me and riding this momentum. So let me do this. Step off to get water for a second, because I just realized I always, like I said, have my checklist and I don't have my bottle of water. So I got to go get that as well. But I'm going to do this, letting people on Turner's Church know I'm here. So you are just watching me do that. We are live. Join us. And I will add the link and attach. Sign in with your Google account. Any Google account you have is okay. Join us. So search. Let me share. We are live. Sign in with your Google account. Any Google account you have is okay. Hopefully by the time you all are signing in, y'all know that. I think you can just watch it in general as well, but just letting the people online know. And since I'm saying it, why not share it with whomever? And also let them know the link if they just want to watch. If you just want to watch, click the link below. Click the link below. I know it's a weekday for some people, and here on the West Coast, it's only 4 o'clock, so people have work, and I'm not going to make any excuses for anybody. Everybody kind of is responsible for doing their own thing, but I'm just saying what time it is. I'm here in Las Vegas or California. I just say West Coast time. It's just easier to explain it. I'm on West Coast time, so I know that the time ranges, we're the earliest, and everybody else is later, all the way to the East Coast, which is 3 hours back, and everybody then becomes 2 hours, and then 1 hour, and then us on our time. So people on different time frames, time schedules. So, all right. So now that is up. It is 4:07. I usually give it to, I think I signed one actually about 4:02. So it's maybe been roughly 5 minutes because I was as usual getting stuff together and getting comfortable. It's a little warm, not too warm, but I know compared to where some of you all live, I just, in my house, I can be in t-shirts and the shorts and have my fan on, and hopefully the hum will not interfere, because as long as I'm doing this, you're going to be hearing this fan, especially in these warmer months here in desert state. So one of the desert states, Arizona is the other one. Nevada, Arizona, I think in California, in some parts of California. So, all right, let me grab my water and we are going to start the chat. I'll start by summarizing Javon's lesson for today. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. You see my shorts and my legs, and that's all good. That's my body. Okay, so today is the Bears in the Bubbles recap. Was Javon is on, I don't even know what day he's on. I'm going to say he might be on day 12 or day 13. But his theme today was watch your own porn. And don't watch porn, do your own thing, or something to that effect. I wrote it down in my journal just to make sure that I would have some notes here. But basically the premise for me, and that's the thing, sometimes it's going to be a different interpretation for everybody. And that's something that hopefully we come to appreciate, that we can agree to disagree, that we can disagree agreeably, that you see things one way, I see things another, and that all of that is okay, that we are still co-creating, that we are still blue dotted line, that we are still squad. Those of us who think of ourselves in those ways, that certain little minute things don't disqualify us. That's the biggest thing. So, you know, I may have those words and, you know, say this type of thing. And then you have Javon, who I might be on this part of the spectrum, the way I talk, even though I'm a girl from the hood and stuff like that. I don't do a whole lot of cussing and things, but, you know, I talk a certain way and Javon talks another way. But I have my moments, and, you know, that's probably one of the things I appreciate about Javon, because, you know, sometimes now he's like one of, like this, he said he would be like kind of your one of your inner voices and stuff like that, when you just want to go off on people. And it is true now, as you start to recognize and realize that, you know, there's things that you are changing, that's changing in yourself, and them things changing in you, then that means that a lot of times you just won't put up with the same things. Things are changing, things are becoming different for you, and therefore you won't put up with those things. So yes, his the title of his talk this morning, his master's class, in our 21 days of horny as whatever you want to call it. What is it? Is it horny as fuck? I don't know. But, you know, the be horny. And it was make your own porn, live your own fucking life. And I probably still just paraphrase that. You know, but I didn't have a whole lot of notes like I had on yesterday. And I might recap yesterday, because when I was on with Kim and Dina, I was, we got into such a good conversation. I don't think I recapped what yesterday was. Yeah, he said I only wrote 3 things today, which was make your own porn, live your own fucking life, go do some shit for yourself, stop watching others in their orgy, in their porn, stop watching, do your own shit. So it's pretty much those 2 sentences were the same sentences. But that's the whole thing too, where, you know, he gave an example sometime where, you know, this guy who was kind of a, you know, wanting to live through him and what him and Chris were doing, or what him and Chris were about. And, you know, just all of that. And it is true. Sometimes that's just, you know, beyond being, you know, weird. It's kind of creepy that people will do that and things like that. And you really do need to say, get a life. But it's also, and I wrote it on on when we were in class this morning. I actually made it to class on time because sometimes I ended up catching the class late because I'm working on other things so my time schedules are different. But I also ended up writing, don't live life on the sidelines. Don't live life from the bleachers. Get in the game. And that's another thing as well, that we need to get in the game and be a part of our own game. This is our field. You have to even think of it that way. This whole game is your game. You get to make the rules. You get to activate the players. The same way with, these guys, I don't play video games, but that's the whole thing. They control every single thing. So get in the game. This is your game. So especially if you start thinking about it as being maybe a superhero or, being a kid again and thinking with your imagination that the way we did before they got beat out of us one way or another, that we could imagine and have our own little characters, our own little miniature dolls. Everything was in place and we knew who was what because we were controlling everything. And that's what this is. And that's one of the things about the law of attraction, ultimately, that Abraham goes into as well. And Javon has kind of converted it's what you want. It's what you want to make it. You can say that you made some mistakes. And that's the one thing when he said mistake yesterday, that was a part of yesterday's lesson. I think that's just the language we have right now. But so, when you make the mistakes, but you get a chance to correct it. This is, you didn't mess anything up in that sense. So everything is working correctly. Everything is working out for you because you are in control of it. You are the puppet master. You pull the strings on yourself and everybody else. As a matter of fact, you want to stop allowing the strings to be pulled by somebody else. So that's the thing. You might need examples because I would say Black people have a problem, have trouble visualizing. So since we have trouble visualizing, then sometimes you have to have an example. So if if you're a guy and you want Morris Chestnut's body, just visualize Morris Chestnut. I know some of you, no homo or whatever you all have to say to get yourself to visualize Morris Chestnut. You can do that. And the same thing. Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you?
I'm okay. So Kim is with us. You're the only one actually, but that's like I said, I'm just gonna start talking when I'm here. But I was just summarizing Javon's lesson for the people who will watch it later, because what I have noticed, and I guess that's a good thing, is that people are watching later. I've noticed that we have a few views later on in the day, so people are watching. So eventually, maybe they will get courageous and be able to come on and start talking too, because I know that's what it is sometimes for some people where they aren't comfortable chatting and getting online and things like that. So people have to get in their comfort zone and hopefully they'll ride our momentum, which is all the stuff I already said, but I'm going to say it again since you just joined us.
Yeah.
What time is it where you are?
It's 7. 15.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's what I was just saying too. I know the distances. So you're East Coast time. So it's East Coast, Central, and then Mountain, and then Pacific. I'm in Pacific time, so I know it goes like this from across the map, or depending on how you can see me.
So your afternoon and late afternoon. I'm evening.
Yeah, so it's been 7:15 for you, 4:15 for me. So
okay.
It took my mom. My family is on the East Coast, so it took my mom years, and I've been on the East Coast. On the West Coast for a while, for over 10 years. It took her probably the first 3 years to kind of get accustomed to the time change. Sometimes she would call me in the morning and I'd be asleep. And, I'm like, "What time is it where you are, Mom?" And then she would go, "Oh, what time is it there?" But anyway, yeah, I was just to summarize with Javon's message this morning. I actually got up on time at 3:40. It would be 3. They get up at 6:45. I have to be up at 3:45 to catch them live. And I was able to get up this morning and be a part of the class and not catch it later. But either way, I try to watch it no matter what. Once I get up. But his message today was don't watch porn, do your own porn, basically. So everything, of course, because this whole thing for this 21 days is horny. So be horny as fuck for your dreams, for your goals, and have that tremendous emotion going on. So today's theme as part of, the sub theme of that was, don't watch porn, make your own, be your own porn. And he just was kind of talking. He gave an example of a friend who was real interested in him and Chris's life, not their sex life in general, but just their life, and kind of wanted to ride his coattails. And, it was a little creepy because he was just like, man, do your own thing. You got your own wife. Y'all need to live your life, but stuff like that. And a lot of times the guy will be like, yo, man, so what you and your old lady doing? And sometimes people do that because it might be self-esteem issues. It might be a number of different reasons or whatever reason that people kind of tend to do that. But, it's got to be about, Kim's dream and what Kim is doing. Brian, we talked about that yesterday. And I didn't get a chance to click on that video. I saw, because I literally just clicked on and started the class. But I know you put something up about something we were talking about yesterday. So you can kind of tell me what you thought about what I was just saying about the theme, and then, also tell me what the video was about, if you don't mind.
Well, the video was in regard to spiritual awakening, and we was talking about just the changes that we end up going through, how people sometimes may not understand the changes that, our families may not understand what we're going through. He was talking about how he came out of the church and he had to actually go through some of the symptoms. He was just sharing some of the symptoms that he went through to get his spiritual awakening. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that resonated within me. My brother actually sent it, and I was just like, wow, okay, this is exactly what we've been talking about. Mm-hmm. So that's just a little take of it.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, it is, when I stopped doing the church totally, I was probably, when I stopped doing it, when I was able to comfortably say out loud, because first I had to have a little bit of a disclaimer. So, I was just like, I don't believe in the white God. I don't believe in the white Bible. I don't believe in the white Christianity. Well, I just kind of got to the point where I'm just like, I don't believe in their God. I don't, believe in their Christianity. I don't believe in, their Bible. And then more and more just like, look, I'm just not for any of that. So before I did that, it is this discomfort because you've been conditioned and you've been programmed and you've been brainwashed. Well, me, I'm saying for me, when I say you, speaking in the eye, I had been conditioned and programmed and brainwashed with that for so long that it did feel for a moment, and really briefly. And I was very grateful for that because I know for some people, and I see some people that, who are making the transition too, and they seem a little bit more lost. But I was lost maybe or felt those feelings of loss and almost like a death in the family, those feelings of loss for maybe a month, maybe. It might have just been 2 weeks. Where I was kind of wandering around because I was the type also that every morning, the first thing out my mouth was Jesus. I would say Jesus as soon as I got up, because these are the ways that I was trained. And I mean, literally, when I started not saying that, and understanding, I had already understood the history of the Bible and knew that a lot of things weren't real or weren't true for me. I just, when I first started not saying Jesus, it was like, ooh, and it's so funny because I know also with Chris, and this will probably have a lot of people confused. Well, she was talking about when she was in church, how she used to do fake tongues, because she just, and it was just kind of, they, when they would be doing the Terry and trying to do, once they do the book of Acts and talk about the fiery tongue and all this other stuff. And, she never got it, but she kind of learned the like everybody else. I don't know if you are familiar with that in your, what your denomination is. But she was talking about are you there? Oh, okay. So this is the thing. Sometimes I have to check with her. Maybe when the different signs come up, I'll know whether or not Kim is there. But anyway, with the tongues situation, that was another issue for me because I don't have to fake tongues. I actually can speak in tongues, and I got it, based on their thing. But one of the first things when I had to, how do you reconcile that in their fake ass Christianity? for me is that as soon as I was already kind of meditating and doing those things, almost always, whenever I would think about the whole tongues thing, I literally see pyramids in my head. It literally is a flash of pyramids. So as I said, for me, one of the things because I had a better understanding and because I had done research, I did research for 6 years based on, sociology, school stuff, dealing with them white folks. But in the course of me doing that, I learned a lot culturally in terms of what, Black people and our spiritual foundation and our origin. A lot of it we do have to keep current because it's bits and pieces and connecting the dots and everything like that. So the spirituality for me was just, hey, I was just connecting to the ancestors. I was connecting to the source. I was connecting to the source universe and source infinity. And because I had really immersed myself in that, that's one of the reasons for me why I can reconcile being able to speak in tongues. That may not work for everybody. They'd be like, oh, that's the story you told yourself in your head. But the story, you telling yourself a story in your head too. So if that resonates with you, maybe that will help somebody who's feeling lost, feeling like they're having some foundation issues, and with leaving spirituality, leaving religion and trying to have a spiritual foundation. And that's also the difference too, that you're trying to now have a spiritual foundation and leave religion behind, especially when it's somebody else's religion, especially when it is a religion that was given to you, literally given to you, not as a gift, even though you might think it is, given to you at the most oppressive point in our ancestors' lives. It just that does not gel with what's supposed to be love and God and something infinite and powerful. So with that being said, that's kind of the summary of Javon's Bubbles and Bears. But Bubbles and Bears, I noticed that I've been happier, and it's funny because I have a friend and she's a non-Black person of color. I don't know if she thinks of herself more as white or not. I don't know if she'll ever see this or not, but she was going through a breakup, and I was kind of gradually talking to her yesterday, just being a friend. And I kind of introduced her to the Bears and the Bubbles. And one of the, the interesting thing is, and she kind of knows that I'm I'm not anti anybody else, but I'm very pro-Black, very pro my people in the now for that situation and circumstance. And, so I was just like, well, I'm not inviting you to anything that I'm doing in terms of like Turner's Church and what we're doing here and all of those types of things. I'm not sharing that with you. But I can direct you to, and I directed her to, Laws of Attraction. And also because of the psychotherapist, psychology background stuff, I was able to introduce her to some other things that I know will be helpful, that I actually will be introducing here and making the Black version, so to speak, when I'm doing some mental health videos. So, but she was going through a breakup, and I was able to just kind of show her about, a lot of times it's the stories that we have in our head. That's another part of the law of attraction too, when he's just like, oh, constantly focus on what it is you're wanting, because a lot of times it's not just focusing on what you don't want. You have a whole story behind it. So if you want to create a story, at least create a story. This is the time when you can get into your fantasies, get into thinking about what it is you want and just create the whole scenario like that. Like a lot of times, if he talks about, he made a good example when he talked about Omalola, who on June 16th, congratulations if she ever watches this, is going to get, secure her doctorate. And he's just like, being able to say, Dr. Omalola endorses this Bears in the Bubbles thing. And imagine being able to just have that kind of clout behind something that you're doing, he's saying. And that's the kind of good example in terms of you, when you are creating your story for him, the Bears in the Bubbles, and for his school, and he already has these people. I would certainly be one of those people as well, to say, hey, this Bears in the Bubbles things is a good thing. Follow this guy, watch this thing, whatever I'm doing in the world. And that's one of the things as well. When I was first putting these broadcasts up, I had forgot to put in that he had the Bears in the Bubble, even though I know they're moving it too. But for now, I was just like, well, let me make sure I put it in the description box, and hopefully it'll be in the description boxes going forward in the things that I put up, because this is where this has come from. And I'm actually putting the bears and the bubbles up here, and I know they're, in the process of making it up. So, I didn't know if I should ask him. He's been saying it's okay with him. So that was kind of in my mind that everything was okay. But, it's just one of those things where I'm like, okay, this is what's worked for me, and acknowledge it. And don't be afraid to acknowledge it and say, hey, this is what somebody else has shown me. And you all, if y'all are interested, become a part of it, be a part of it, learn from it, and all those things. As he said, he's going to have a different version when he's selling it to the white folks. And I think that he's good, in terms of what he has done here. I just was looking up online because I saw somebody who was saying thanks to another person that I used to follow on Facebook. I haven't followed her as much lately, so that was really good. So I see I have one viewer. I don't know if you are a new viewer, but I'm going to just say hi, whoever that is on here. And if you want to communicate with me and we are not already friends, friend me on Turner's Church, and there's a little chat box down in the right-hand corner on Turner's Church, and you can write a message there if we're not already friends. But this could be Dina, because Dina's been faithful, ride or die with me. And also Kim, but Kim dropped off for some reason. So I'm just talking. Oh, okay. I'm in there. Where y'all at? Okay, that's Deanne. So I don't know if you want to be on video, Deanne. If you do, then you can try the other link, and I'll put it up again just to make sure people have it. Copy. I'm going to put it on the post because maybe it didn't come up. And people are just filtering in when they want to filter in, and that's okay too. So I'm just adding the link again just in case people want to filter in. I thought it came up, or maybe I didn't press share or something. So I'm putting it back up on the main page again. And I'm just putting we are live, and join us, because I don't know what happened to the other one. And share. So. All right. So if you want to join in and talk, come in and talk. If you just want to watch and listen, then you can do that. And I see she dropped off, so I'll write Deanne a little message just saying that. If you want to be on video, click the location link. Otherwise, click the link on the bottom to just watch. All right, so I'm gonna keep talking because I know that's the thing. Love my folks, but I know they'll be throwing a wrench in your stuff, man. You'd be like, all right, oh, should I change the time? Should I make all of these accommodations? And people still won't show up, and so I don't do any of that. I made a time, and I'm like, look, I'm gonna be here religiously every day. If you want to be here, if you want to be on with me, I'm going to be here. If not, I'm sharing my experiences. I'm here to talk about the bears in the bubble. If people are going through things, and they want to share, especially when you're making changes and you're trying to get your family on, and, because I've gone through that so far too. I told my sister, I'm going to teach my family when I go to visit them. They're on the East Coast, but I'm going to actually draw the bears in the bubbles and have them drawn on a paper as well, and do my little presentation, PowerPoint presentation, because that's how my mind works. They can do that. So, to learn, but you kind of have to continue to be going and keep your momentum flowing. And you go to the mountaintop and you be like, come on, family, I'm here, and you be shooting from the mountaintop. If they got some aggressors and some invaders, trying to invade their energy. You up there as they sniper, and you taking these people out from afar, but you got to stay going where you going. That's the whole thing. That's one of the reasons you have a sniper, to get people across and stuff. Not the way, just murdering for no reason and nonsense that they teach you on television, brainwash, condition, and program you with on television. But but in terms of what is really for. So this is the whole thing. You learning all of this stuff to have a vibration, to have power, to have momentum and stuff like that, so that you can blanket your family, but also that your family has their own. And the more powerful and powerful and powerful you get, y'all will be able to do an abundance of things and really truly believe in those types of things. They've been conditioning us about, we have no power. They've been programming us and conditioning us and brainwashing us that we have no power, when we are we are the most powerful. One of the things I keep mentioning and off and on is when Javon said that Black people are the only masters of of momentum, I think he said, but I kind of disagree with that. I think that we are overall the whole masters of this whole thing, the law of attraction and the law of vibration. I think that in general, that white people have fed off of vibration being constant energy and momentum, just really two things. But within those things, particularly within the energy, force, violence, whatever they use with the energy, and then they wrote on the momentum. We weren't thinking. If anything, we were being hospitable. Every time they kind of invaded and conquered, they invaded and conquered people who weren't there, who were minding their business, wasn't there to fight, wasn't there to be doing all of those things. Did we have to have that mindset? Apparently, we needed to adjust our mindset. But by the time we realized this, and they're being cruel, they're murdering us, doing just atrocious, savage, barbaric things to our people, our original people in these original places, we're so dumbfounded. We're like, why? So then the compassion, and the concern and the questioning and those types of emotions come in, where you don't have, these murderers. Hey, Kim.
I was right. I'm sorry. I'm back.
That is okay. That is okay. I'm like I said, I'm gonna keep talking either way. So you probably have to go back. This is just be a day that I've been conversing with myself. Yan was on as well, but she clicked off. She was like, "Where's everybody at?" And that's the whole thing. As I said, some people are gonna be like, "Oh, they only see one person. They don't want to be the only person." So I'm gonna keep talking. And I'm gonna keep going, because one of the things I realize, having done these types of things before, especially with my folks. Is that a lot of times you'll be like, oh, should I change the time? And, you change the time, people won't show up. Or should I do this differently? And people won't show up. So I'm just at the point where I'm like, trusting in, the momentum is going to build, and to just kind of continue to be here for when people want to kind of talk and participate and be a part of this thing. Because, at least they can go back and see some of our discussions and see that they've been really good, and hopefully they'll be helpful to them going forward.
Yes, ma'am.
So how was your day? I'm kind of done with everything else, unless you want to go specifically on what you heard me say, whatever you did catch.
My day went very well. It was productive.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching that court case with the Trump wiretaps. Off and on, not all day, but just off and on.
Yeah. I don't watch any television. I have a nice television. I can look at it from here, but yeah, that's television really. So I do catch a couple of internet things here and there, and I'm just trying to get more and more. And that's another thing it seems like we've been doing on a lot of people. What Javon's call is also we haven't been watching a lot of television. So that's at least the first thing. When they first started here, I don't know if you saw it the first day. Did you join up like roughly the first or second day or something like that when Turner's Church started?
Yes, I did. I don't even know really how I came across Turner's Church. I know it was on Facebook, but I don't. Maybe through a group or something. I'm not exactly sure, but I saw it, and I saw that Javon was talking some very good things, and I was like, okay, he's trying to put together a social media for us. let me go ahead and sign up.
Yeah,
So when he said that he was getting off February the 3rd,
yeah. And he
that,
didn't yet.
that's what really sparked me to get off of Facebook.
Yeah.
When he was like, okay, I'm gonna take my journey and I'm getting off Facebook. I said, you know what? I'm getting off Facebook. And my birthday is February 6th.
Mhm.
So I was like, I'm gonna do myself a favor and have that as my birthday gift to me. Just to exit social media. And I find it a lot freeing because I don't have to see everybody's mess. I don't have to see a whole lot of stuff. So, and I don't watch too much TV at all either. But I'll just happen to watch that because this is going to be a historic thing. It's sort of like the new Watergate. So I did watch a little bit of it.
All right. Can you hear me okay?
I'm sorry?
I said, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I'm just in my kitchen because I had some food in the oven because I was running around a little bit, so I'm going to be eating and talking. I'm just prepping my plate here.
Okay.
And
Got
Dina's
it.
online as well.
That's understandable.
No, I said Dina. She's
Oh, okay. Hi, Dina.
on. So if y'all are wondering while I'm off, I'm up here getting my plate together. I'll be right there. But
No
yeah,
problem.
not able to get off yet because Turner's Church is still working on getting, kind of full throttle. So that's why he's not able to get off yet.
That's understandable. He's the leader. He's got to make sure that everything is okay, and he's got to make sure that the people that are on Facebook that has been following him, that he's got to keep them interested as well. So it's understandable why he's not off yet.
Yeah. And he, but they had a couple of times when they got thrown in Facebook jail. So he's frustrated and waiting for Turner's Church to be up and live. And hopefully,
Right.
it'll happen. But, that's the whole thing. While, you have other people who understand resources like this, I kind of understood a little bit of YouTube. So I was just like, at least this is something we can utilize and still support Turner's Church. So, okay.
Yeah.
I know it's awkward for me to be on camera.
Yeah. So I can say that I'm not okay.
Go ahead. I'm here. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I'm not. I don't miss Facebook. I don't miss it. I don't miss the drama. I don't miss the negativity because there for a while it was just like I even got the cuss one day because I was like, oh my goodness, pull y'all asses together. I was just like, y'all need to really get yourselves together. I'm like, from y'all talking to, oh my God, everybody's dying and oh my God, and my life is just, I was like, I can't, I was just like, I can't deal with y'all.
Yeah.
I cannot take y'all because y'all are so, if I get on, y'all are so negative and so draining. So I was listening to Lisa Nichols and she was talking about how if it's that drain or whatever, just get off. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get off because I can't deal with these people. These people are older than me. Y'all get, I'm telling y'all get a grip. Y'all should be telling me to get a grip. But then, it's so funny because I tell people a lot of people are double standard because they'll do something on Facebook and then try to tell somebody else what to do. So one day I just went off on all of them. I said, listen, I'm getting sick of y'all telling people what to do and what not to do on Facebook when y'all do it and then some. Yeah. I'm not trying to hear it. Don't tell me what I should say and what I shouldn't say because y'all do it. Just a minute. y'all do it even worse, and y'all are older than I am. You all should be teaching me how to be as a young lady. You all go off on your baby daddies. You all go off on your baby mamas. Don't nobody want to see all of that, but you all try to tell somebody else what to do. I don't want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and you all are doing worse.
Yeah. I think in general, all of kind of the social media has become kind of emotional. On the one hand, it's a crutch for people because obviously people jump up in the first thing in the morning and they look to Facebook, Twitter, all of those types of things. I even have my days and moments that I'm doing that. I saw one girl write her. She's like, "Look, I'm trying to stay off Facebook, but I only check Facebook and Twitter to make sure Donald Trump hasn't made black people slaves again." And and then people are like, "Girl." So, I think that, but seriously, she said that, but I think that is in the back of a lot of people's minds. And Dina, if you need to say something, remember, you can use the little chat box on the side. So I think that's a lot of where people are kind of just needing this toxic dysfunction to continue to feed into the toxic dysfunction that they are.
Yes. I saw it was a lot of toxicity on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really had my Facebook really just for family and my networking. And at first I was like, okay, Kim, you're going to lose a lot of your networks because I'm off of Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, you know what? Bump it. If they want to get in contact with me, they know how to get in contact with me.
Yeah, and that's
there were some few people that I did leave my address and my email address and my telephone number. Like, look, if you need to get in contact with me, this is how you can contact me. But I was just like, no, I can't deal with y'all anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm just apologizing. This is all vegetarian sweet potato fries, vegetarian egg rolls, and sparkling tea. But I have to eat because I'm hungry. I was just apologizing.
Hey, you do what you gotta do. You just being real with it. We're humans, so I've been trying to go vegetarian. I'm not all the way there yet.
Neither.
I'm not all the way there. And it's so funny because in West Virginia, I was like, okay, I was trying to follow Dr. Sebi and his guidelines as far as the alkaline. Mm-hmm. I was like, West Virginia, I was like, okay, we really don't have a whole lot of stuff. But I did go to one store and I was so happy because I found alkaline water. Mm-hmm. And I found spelt flour, and I was just like, I was so happy. I was like, yes, this is everything that I need.
Do you ever watch Ty's Conscious Kitchen on YouTube?
Yes, I like Ty. Ty.
Recipes for a lot of the stuff that's on Dr. Sebi's list, and I thought that was really thoughtful. I'm hoping he blows up one day because, of course, what's ended up happening, you can already see it. They're stealing his recipes, and some of them are attaching it to their vegan or their vegetarian thing, or even their paleo thing, and you can see that they stole that. I've seen a couple of the white people on there. That's who I'm talking about when I say they. I can see. I'm like, oh, they stole that from Ty's Conscious Kitchen, and that's all. And it's just such a shame the way they do that in terms of who originally created it and how they end up stealing it. But yeah, you just do a little bit. For me, it's been baby steps. And one of the things I started doing, because, I never needed a whole ton of meat, but I needed some sort of meat. So I started making shredded meat and just literally having a tablespoonful or 2 tablespoonfuls of whether it be ground beef, ground or shredded turkey, ground or shredded chicken, ground or shredded fish, or shrimp or something like that, and just having that as a plateful, and then of course having a vegetable and trying to have a smoothie a day. Just little things, because and my goal at this point is just to kind of be about years in. I want to be about 90% vegetarian. I'm still not totally vegan because for the most part, I've always been primarily eggs and butter, which are what you can eat if you do like grass-fed butter and organic eggs and stuff like that. But cheese is I should say cheese is my weakness. So, I like my pizza and all those types of things. So diet is a challenge, but it's also, you understand that you're making a lifestyle change. So little by little, you just get bits and pieces and don't beat yourself up about it. You just, do what you can.
So I've been making my little changes, and I noticed like my system, like lately, like my system can't even take certain stuff, like dairy products. It can't take it because I haven't been doing too much dairy products. So I've noticed somebody changes here as of lately, with me going to organic and alkalizing my body. I could see the changes.
Yeah, and as far as the dairy, it's usually for when they say black folks are lactose intolerant. I think in general, it's just a lot of things that once you start getting to a certain, it's not even I don't necessarily think it's an age thing as much as it's a metabolism slowing down because we have believed a particular thing about age. So we tend to just slow down because that's the expectation. If you get over 35, you're going to slow down, or whatever the case may be for people. And a lot of those things start kicking in, like when we were talking about, you can heal your life. How a lot of times it's just the emotional and the things that you just connected to it that kind of start to affect your life and affect your health and affect your weight. And that's one of the things. So dairy, obviously, is milk, cheese, butter, and eggs are primarily 4 things in dairy. And a lot of protein is in the eggs. I don't, I eat them, but I try to do it in moderation. But I don't mind if I have a few eggs and some grass-fed butter, which is more expensive, but it's better for you. But yeah, milk. A lot of times, unless I'm just craving cereal, it's not. Milk is definitely not a big one for me. Cheese is, I'm a pizza for the most part. Pizza, or I like eggs in my cheese. So. You just find what works for you in terms of just cutting back a little bit, not eating as much, not doing as much, trying to buy it less. But it's gonna, that's an ongoing conversation, people's nutrition and diet and all those types of things. Because we do have a bit of an obesity problem, and we can see how the hormones are affecting our girls and our boys, but especially our girls. It's just, the food takes to their body, all that hormone food takes to their body in a way that you just can see. It almost does look like a constant bloating. They're getting bigger in that sense. But it just almost seems like a bloating of the body, and it's based on those hormones and that the toxins in the food.
Correct. Because you have a lot of these teenagers. They look like grown women, and you're like, unless you really looking at their face, their bodies look like grown women.
Yeah.
Because of the hormones that are in the food.
Yeah. I know my niece, she's will be 18 in June, and I just been watching over the years, and I'm just like, yeah, you are a little different from when we were, watching her when she was 13, 14, 15, and things like that. I'm like, yeah, y'all were different looking 13 and 14 and 15-year-olds, that's for sure. So when I was a 13, 14, 15, that's when 13, 14, and 15-year-olds looked like they were 8, 9, and 10.
Right.
These girls now, it's true. I cannot tell the age of a lot of teenagers in general. I can usually tell they're a teenager. That's all. But I cannot tell their age and at all. It's like, wow. Especially between the near my house and plus in the apartment complex I live in, there's just a lot of units, 200 units and stuff. But I can't tell the junior high school kids from the high school kids. And when I see them, and some of the elementary school kids, the bus drops them off in front of the apartment, and and they're getting off, and I'm just like, I don't know, I couldn't tell you these kids' age. It is a lot.
Yes, I know that just going. I know I'm backtracking. do is talk about Javon's message this morning when I had got cut off.
We're talking.
And just really, I guess what I got from it was, you gotta just really just be yourself. When you was finishing up, before I got cut off, we just really gotta be ourselves and taking off the mask and, forget what everybody else thinks and forget what everybody else says.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta really just be real with yourself.
Yeah, you do. And sometimes it's a little bit of a process. You don't feel like you have to, if you don't know how to swim, to dive into the deep end, but if you desire to learn how to swim, start holding the edge and crawl over to the deep end. Hold on, let yourself go. Hold on, the way if you want to teach yourself, you don't take the lessons. But that was one of the things when I wanted to learn how to swim. I always have a problem with I make that sound when I have to hold my breath.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's part of a mental thing for me. I just go, and I literally hear myself do that. And I'm just like, do I think I'm going to drown? Why do I always make that sound?
Mm-hmm.
So, the first goal I had when I started learning how to swim was, I'm just going to learn how to not drown.
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. I learned how to float on my back now, and I know how to not drown. If for some reason I'm in the water, as long as I can see the land, if I was in the ocean or something like that and I fell out the boat, I can lay back and float a little bit to rest. I can turn over, see the see that I'm going in the direction of land, swim a little bit, turn back over, rest, see the land, swim a little bit, and that's what I've learned so far. I still have more to go in terms of treading. Now is my difficult part is being able to tread water, and I'm still learning. So you take it by process in terms of based on whatever the fear is, whatever the story is in your mind, because that's what it is ultimately. It stops you from swimming. We already know stereotype Black people can't swim, but that's not true. When you go everywhere else in the world, Black people swim all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of Black people swim here, but we get that stereotype, and that they continue to drill into us, and we recycle their misinformation about us, which is so crazy. But we do that. We the ones who be like, Black people can't swim, girl. Black girls don't want to get their hair wet. And for a lot of them, but that's not everybody. When I decided I was just going to do it, I was like, I'm glad that I was natural, because I'm like, look, I'm going to learn how to swim, so my hair going to be getting wet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the shrinkage is real. It's longer than it is, but my hips. I got that 4C going on, so that 4C goes right on in.
Yeah, me and my daughter is natural. I'm naturally curly. So
mm-hmm. You probably a 4A or 3 is that 3? I forgot how it goes. 3C or something, whatever the last one is. So I saw your hair texture. That's probably what you are.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but I just got that curly hair.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, it's curly. I say it's like 3 heads in one, because some days it could be curly, wavy, or it could be looking kind of straight.
Mm-hmm.
I just got that type of hair texture. My daughter's hair is so thick. Hers isn't really curly, but she can get away with it. But her hair is so thick. And she likes it. She loves it natural. Like,
I love big hair girls.
No perm. She don't want it to perm. Even when she was younger. Like, no, mommy, I don't want any perm.
Good. You said your daughter's 12, right?
Yes, she's 12.
Yeah, and that's when my niece, I think, first wore her mom down and got her hair permed for the first time. And I remember she calls me, and I'm close to my niece, so I definitely try to be supportive and everything, but I couldn't hide my disappointment. So the first thing she's like, Auntie, I got my hair permed today. And I said, why, sweetie? And she just got quiet, and I was like, oh, wrong thing. But I just I want her to perm her hair. I wanted her to love her own hair. And we just started talking about it again when she started, she's a senior now in high school. But when she started her, I think it was in the middle of her, well, maybe it was in the beginning of her junior year or the middle of her junior year. But I was just like, sweetie, if you go natural, because we have a couple of different textures in my family. So my sister and her, they have longer, fuller, thicker hair. So I was like, if you start now, your hair, by the time your senior year comes, your hair will be like out to here. Want to have one of those big, massive 12-inch afros all around. I was telling her she would have done that, but it's peer pressure a lot of times too. You want to kind of be like everybody else. People are going natural around you. She wasn't comfortable enough to kind of do it, but I believe she's going to do it.
Yeah, but I do like from time to time, like get my baby's hair. Like right now, she has crochet braids, and just to have that protective. And once you braid it, her hair grows out. So once I take it all out, it is so full. So I told her, I said, by the time you reach 15, 16, your hair is going to be so full and long.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And now, because people have been doing it with their children from birth, now I saw on Tumblr a page that I follow, a black hair page. Because I try to follow a bunch of different people. Because again, when you're going through, I can't visualize when my hair is going to be out to here. So I needed somebody to visualize from. So I saw a girl on there that I liked, and I started following her. And so, for now, until I can visualize my own hair, I usually just visualize her hair, and I'll go, I think I said this when I was talking to Dina and Jamaica on the book club, and I was like, I just say Black Baby because her name is Black Baby Doll on YouTube. It's Black Baby Doll, and I was like, oh, I want Black Baby Doll hair, Brown Baby Doll or whatever her name is, But she started from a teeny weeny afro, and her hair is just really beautiful and healthy now, And my journey is ultimately my journey, but you can still, have the texture of your hair. The more you understand about your hair, you can still have your hair come out to be pretty much whatever it is you want it to be. That's the whole thing, but you have to understand the process and put in the time and all of that kind of stuff. So, I was going to say something else about the hair, but I forgot what my team thought was going to be. And Dina's probably just listening, but she's still here. But I was looking to just see if she's chatting. She said something like, "I'm listening again. I hit location and Google got a Google image of my house. Sure, I don't have something set up correctly." All you need to do, Dina, just for future reference, is as long as you have any kind of Google account, is you just come into YouTube, sign into YouTube, and click on you already know my link, and you should be able to, because I think even on the page it'll say you can watch live or participate. And I sent that link as well. But as soon as you sign into Google, you should just be able to be in YouTube and be able to come on the page. But I don't know what your phone is. I know some of us have iPhones, and some of us have all kinds of other ones. I got Samsung, which I love, my Galaxy S Edge. So everybody has a different phone. But what are you using, Kim?
I have an LG, Samsung LG. I have an Android.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and see, that's me. I'm Android as well.
Yeah, I've been trying to debate between the iPhone and the Android, but I love my Android. I've had it for years.
Yeah, me too. I'm on the Galaxy. Well, it's all Android too. The operating system is Android, but yeah, I love the Samsung, and they've been beating them out until they ended up having those blowed up phones. Those phones started blowing up with the Note last year. But they even started to beat them. They started to beat the iPad a little bit because it's a good phone and you can actually do a lot more. iPhone has a little bit more control over their phones, where this allows you to just do a whole lot on your own without having to be connected to Apple's overlord, the Apple overlords and their systems for every single thing. So that's the difference.
Yeah, that was I saw that a review on the iPhone, and they was talking about they didn't like the fact that you had to go into iTunes or whatever, their apps for just everything. And the Android, you don't have to do that. I was just like, well, I don't know if I want to do that. Just go into iTunes for everything. I like the Droid.
Yeah. But that iPad, see, that's the whole thing. This is like, and they're saying the iPads and the iPad mini, As you can see, I just like technology, so I got another one laptop, a big monitor, and another laptop, and
All right,
I
so
just
you're like my dad. He's a techie.
yeah, but I always like it to be functional and have a purpose. So I'm not just buying stuff and wasting my money. So and I also have my stuff in for years. So all of these things, I think my iPhone, no, I think this laptop I have is the newest thing I had, and then my iPhone, I'm sorry, my Galaxy S, I just got it. But this is, as they said, they call this basically the iPhone without the 2-year contract. And it is true, because you can make calls on your iPad. You can do everything, you just don't have to have a contract and stuff like that. It's just, you get it in terms of getting all of the different apps and stuff for it.
Okay.
So I have a little bit of everything. So this is what's Apple, and then this is Samsung, and then my computer is a Microsoft Surface. So I'm in all, I like all of them. But I don't like the Mac, where a lot of like people who are much more artistic and graphic and do all the stuff on the Macs. I prefer, because I do much more kind of administrative or whatever you want to call it, or academic stuff. I prefer the Microsoft's programs. So it's a little bit of everything for everybody. Everybody's going to be different. And some people just do everything from this little phone. And I'm like, no, I need a little bigger workspace. So, learning about the technology, just being able to have stuff that I can travel with when I go home to visit family, or when I go abroad, and all those types of things. And we were talking about, we talked about the Vegas, or rather, are you all planning to go to, you and Dina, are you planning to go to North Carolina?
No, I had just mentioned that we haven't got together. We haven't talked yet. So.
Oh, okay.
I would love to do something like that.
Did y'all exchange phone numbers?
I have to give you. I'll inbox you my number.
Oh yeah, we can do that. I have Dina's number. Dina knows. I told her that's the one thing I am bad on, is calling folks. People usually have to call me because I get bad on calling people. But I'm usually like, I can talk, or I'll call you back. And usually if I say I'm gonna call you back, definitely gonna make time where I know I'm gonna be there, I'll be able to sit down and talk with them. But it's just usually if I'm doing a whole lot of things, and we seem to be in this age where we always have some excuse for why we're not calling and why we're not talking. We miss that kind of personal connection, but we're moving away from this. So you do have to find new ways like this to just kind of make friends and get with people who are kind of on the same page as you. That's what these things are about, and be able to study the bubbles in the bear and be doing you and still find some moral support for the things.
I think that's good. As far as Turner's Church, I think that's a good thing to do, is finding, because there's a post, I forgot who posted it. I forgot her name, but she was posting about how, even on her Facebook page, she's telling people about certain stuff and how she's not getting the support. But over at Turner's Church, because we're understanding about spiritual awakening, we're understanding about energy, we're understanding about bubbles and the bears, we're understanding about all of that stuff. And, we have the support of people that are like-minded. Whereas Facebook, you're not getting that support, even if it's through family or whatever. They are, not interested in that. They rather talk about drama.
Mm-hmm. And that's the hard thing. And we were talking about that yesterday in terms of when I was talking about that lady in her house. And I was talking about getting your house in order first, because a lot of times we have so much repairs to do, and it just seems so exhausting, so emotionally exhausting, mentally, and you feel it, you have a physical reaction to it, just trying to make repairs with your family. Sometimes your family hurts you the most, because those are people you love the most. So what they say and what they do to you, it cuts like a knife. And that's the stuff we're going to talk about. I didn't, by the way, I didn't forget about your question, but that's for the other thing. So just so you know, I'm not, but just so you know, but all of those types of things, we need to kind of start addressing it the best we can. And one of the funny things is we were talking about that because Devon was saying that he's closer to, these people that he's meeting do the bubbles and the bears than he is to his whole family. And somebody typed in, family is who you say is family. And I'm
Right.
like, that's kind of true. And I think, that's number one. But it's also number two is that your family, the people you love the most, are going to be the first people to teach you how to love from a distance. Because you're going to end up having to love some family members from a distance. That's just the way it is. And you're going to be like, look, I'm going to the mountaintop. Y'all want to come or y'all don't want to come? And it's really difficult because you're trying to save people who don't want to be saved. You're trying to help people who don't want to be helped. You're trying to throw people a rope that don't want you to throw them a rope. If they drowning and you throw them a lifesaver, they're gonna be like, I ain't asked for that. And that's how it goes. Sometimes you be like, the fuck? I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, so it's disheartening, when you see, because my brother, like, he's like, Kim, he had to get me to see, and I posted it, that sometimes you gotta just leave. He said the N word. He said you gotta leave these niggas where they at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't save everybody. So I'm just got to the point where, like I said yesterday, I'm focusing on Kim.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to worry about everybody else because, until they see the light, until they see what I'm trying to do, until they see the change, maybe it's going to have to take me to fully change and to get them to see, okay, well, what is Kim doing? What is she doing that's different from what I'm not doing? And the reason why I'm not getting my breakthrough, the reason why I'm not getting this, or the reason why I'm not getting that. So that's why I'm like, I'm trying to get Kim together.
Mm-hmm.
I can't try to save everybody else. And that was my whole thing. I'm like, well, I'm being awakened. I don't want everybody else to be left behind.
Yeah.
I want them to see what I'm seeing. But
Mm-hmm.
everybody's not going to see what I'm seeing. And everybody's not going to agree. Some people are just still stuck in that old regime.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to come to terms with that and just be like, you know what? Now I'm okay with it. I'm just like, okay, I got to stick with people that think just like I think.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that whole spiritual awakening, which is that video that I posted online, which I think that'll be helpful for people, go to that link about spiritual awakening and the things that you're experiencing and the things that you're going through. Because when he was explaining certain things, he even mentioned about Abraham Hicks. He even mentioned about the law of attraction. He mentioned certain things that I was going through as far as spiritually. And there's going to be some people, even your own family, that you're going to have to love from the distance. You still love them, you still support them, but you're just going to have to be like, you know what, you're just not on my journey. You're not on my level.
Yeah, yeah. My mom just had an emergency, and I mentioned that before. She just had an emergency medical scare, and I was like almost ready, in my mind, just getting myself ready to move out the country. I'm just so sick of this, this nonsense, and all of this stuff happened, and that's the whole thing too with law of attraction. You get what you need. So I was like, definitely kind of, what is the answers? What's my next step source, and all those types of things. And it was a kind of a crash course with my mom, but it made me have to kind of change things because I'm choosing at least to not go. I'm still going to travel and stuff, but at least to not permanently go so far away because, my mom is important to me. But I also understand that I cannot necessarily be there to hold hands, even with her, as much as I'm going to try to help and do things. I'm literally like putting together a PowerPoint and going to do the bubbles in the beds with my family when I go home in June for my niece's graduation and do all of this stuff. But it's ultimately going to come down. I already know before I start that I'm be like, look, no expectations, lower my expectations with my family.
Right.
Don't build my hopes up because they may just not be ready. And that's always been the case. I've been, sometimes you are the one that will go out there and go off and they are just comfortable. And it's not necessarily that they're comfortable, but it's the stories that are connected in their head, and it kind of elevates the fears. And when 1 year becomes 2, and then 2 years becomes 3, and then 3 years becomes 4, and that's kind of where you end up. So a lot of times I used to call it the land of still. Because, you know, when you go back to the old neighborhood, you know, they'd be like, yo, you still here? Yo, your mom still
Mm-hmm.
living? Oh, you still living over there? You know, and it's that kind of situation where you're gonna see people that are living in Atlanta still. Yeah, they still there. You still gonna you're gonna meet up with these people that's gonna be exactly where you left them, you know. And that's the thing. Sometimes when you meet up with exes and they go, you know, and they be like, yeah, you know, well, you can call me, you know where to find me. And that's kind of be like, yeah, that's kind of the problem. I do know where to find you because you still where I left you. That's you know, that's the issue. So
Right.
it's difficult, you know, in those ways. And, you know, especially when you get really connected to people because you genuinely care and you genuinely love them. But as you say, you got to have Javon sometime in your head and being like, fuck them, fuck your
Yeah.
feelings.
I mean, you do have to be like, fuck a lot of people because even like with my family, like, you know, even before me coming across law of attraction and everything else like that, I was just like, look, I'm not the same Kim that you all know, like way back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm growing, mentally, spiritually, and physically. I'm growing. Well, really
Yep.
just mentally and spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
That same Kim that you thought that I was, or that still got in your mind, that's not still not it's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So it just got to be frustrating because in their mind they're still thinking, oh well, that's still the same Kim. No, but I had to really just let go. 2015 was really an eye opener as far as letting go and just that situation that I went through, and eventually I will talk about the situation. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not to right now. I'll feel a release to talk about the situation right now.
Got to get comfortable being on camera, so you got a ways to go. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that too.
Partially. Go ahead.
That too. But it was almost like God source telling me, basically cutting me off. Like I had to get cut off to be like, that's not for you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, like you need to let that go.
Mm-hmm.
It's heartbreaking, it's challenging, but if a person is toxic to you, if your family is toxic to you, it don't matter who is toxic to you. If they're not helping you and they're hindering you, you need to let that go. And so that's what it's teaching me. It's easier now when I see even some family members, if they're toxic or they're still stuck in a situation, it's easier for me to, okay, I gotta put you at a distance because see, you ain't ready.
Mm-hmm.
You got some growing up to do. You got some growing to do. So that situation really opened up my eyes, and I don't think my family is even really understanding like what I really went through and what I really had to go through. And I tell them a little bit, and my aunt, she was like, "Oh my God, Kim." She said, "I don't know how I could have went through what you're going through." She was like, for you to still be here, you're not in a mental institution. She had to sit me down and say, "You're a very strong, resilient woman. You're very resilient to have to go through that, and you're still standing."
Mm-hmm.
And I almost want to cry right now because it's a journey. And Lisa Nichols, she stood in Atlanta and she told me, this time next year, your life is not going to be the same. I didn't know what she was saying, and I thank God for Source for even letting me come across her path. And she had left. And do you know, I was leaving and she came back in the building and I saw her team and she gave me this big hug and it was just warm and it was just, I needed that. And she was like, Kim, I was talking to you. She's like, I was talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
And my life is not the same that it was, a year ago. My eyes is a lot open. It's open. I'm still having some challenges, I'm still, you know, dealing with some things, but the woman that I was 2 years ago, because when I came into this, Miss Veronica, I was
Mhm.
a shell of a woman. I had no emotions. I had nothing. And to come and to be able to talk to you, even, live like this, I've come a long way.
Mhm. I believe you.
And to discover my spiritual awakening, I've come a long way. So I just want to encourage people that's going through something, you know, Turner's Church is a way that we can support one another. And we're going through these challenges and these changes, and our family members may not understand what we're going through, but at least you have that support of other people that are like-minded.
Yeah, and that's what is
So
going to
that's
happen.
just a little bit.
Wow, and that was good, and thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure, as I said, people listen to this later. It looks like, so they'll be able to hear that. And you're not the only one. You're not alone. I'm not alone. And that's the whole thing. Again, the stories that we tell ourselves in our head, that we don't have anybody that we can talk to, that we need, that we need help. And I have days. I may come across as confident, but that's because this is what I need to do to find other people to talk to. You got to start somewhere. So I'm willing to talk. This does happen to be my field. And I feel like, because I was totally not necessarily heading towards psychology, but Source knew what I wanted. Source knew who I was. So, when Javon drives the car, it shows, the green car, and you're pointed towards Source. And then there's these little red cars, or your pink bubbles or whatever. We made the cars one day. I have that one day. I'm going to try to share it on this. Not today, but I got to figure it out. But he was just showing you on the path, and sometimes it's things that are trying to knock you off of the path. And that was the thing in terms of me getting thrown into this psychotherapy profession, and having to talk to people and be the authority in the room, so to speak. And that wasn't necessarily, I wasn't shy. I was always sociable, and I'm always that one who's cool with everybody kind of situation. But this wasn't exactly my lane. This wasn't exactly what I was into and what I was, doing per se. So then it was like, for me to be able to find people to talk to, for me to be able to find people that I wanted to relate with, I had to put this out there. I had to say, hey, I want to talk on a daily basis. Does anybody want to talk? People saying they want to talk. I really want to talk. So if y'all want to talk, meet me here. If y'all don't want to talk, I'm going to talk to the screen, and eventually people will come. This is definitely, if you build it, they will come. I believe the momentum is behind it. So it might be 3 people. Deanne kind of showed up and popped in and popped out today. But I'm going to just believe in, and I'm going to keep doing this. I'm already pretty sure I'll be doing it past the 21 days. Maybe not every single day after the 21 days, but I know I'm going to be doing it, just popping in and saying, hey, if anybody wants to talk, let's talk. And I don't have to be the only one to do this. Anybody can do this. And you just put it up. Hey, I'm on Facebook right now live. If anybody wants to chat, come on and chat. And I know if I ever see this with anybody else, and I happen to be online and I'm not doing anything, I'm gonna pop in and see what they're talking about. Because you can always do that on Facebook, and sometimes you just not. You might not be in the mood for a particular type of thing. I might not be in the afternoon. In the morning, I know I'm going to deal with Javon, but in the afternoon, I don't have all his other notifications that come up throughout the day. I don't listen to all of them, because I'm like, okay, I get my Javon fix in the morning. Sometimes I watch some of the rest of them during the day, and also the same thing with Naked Girls. And as you said, in terms of just, it's a big step. It may not seem like it, but we may just be on different levels, but it's not for us to compare each other. It's for us to support each other and say, hey, this is what you're doing, Kim, is great for you. And, and keep doing it and keep going forward. And whoever family is, whoever you say family is for now, So that's how. Yeah. But you're doing good. And I think we're going to see a lot of people in here. We make it at first, but you're going to see a lot of people on here who are going to have different stories. Everybody has their own stories. First of all, starting with the story in their life. But a lot of times we will find that we do have some commonalities. We definitely have what's in common is being Black, and being Black every single day. And and what that can bring, and what that can entail. So that's one of the reasons that this book, this spoke to a lot of people. Right now, the membership is at, let me kind of check on our membership page. They have
So
one.
I read Shamika Michelle's book.
Oh, that's right. How was that? I want to talk about that in the book club, but go ahead and talk about it. It's okay.
I read the book, and a lot of it resonated with me. A lot of it coming from the church background, just being a real, just basically, you just try to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And like I tell people, what you see is what you get with me.
Mm-hmm.
There is no in between, because I'm sorry, I can't be fake.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be fake with people.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, sometimes I have to, kind of hold my mouth, not say too much to people, because, and at the same time, trying to find my voice at the same time, because I know sometimes once my mouth gets to going, I can talk. But when I do talk, I know what I'm talking about at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's just about, she was talking about just being your authentic self. You have to be, because, God didn't make a copy. You got to be your original self. You can't be like everybody else. While you trying to be somebody else, and that's one thing that I see on Facebook too, is these trends that everybody, I'm like, why can't you set your own trend? Why can't you be yourself? I see so many people that are trying to be like everybody else. Be yourself. I think that was the most annoying thing for me with Facebook and social media. It's like the phrase "stay woke." Now everybody's saying it. And even to the point Erykah Badu said, I don't even want to say "stay woke" anymore, because everybody's saying it now. We've been doing this thing for years. You all really don't know what "stay woke" means. You're just saying it because a star said it, or somebody that you admire is telling you to say this or has said this. We have to be our original selves.
Yeah.
And that's
go ahead.
That's one thing that Shamika was talking about in her book, is just being yourself, unmasking who you really are. Who are you?
Yeah, I was just writing. I didn't want to talk while you were talking, so just so if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm paying attention, but I'm writing down so that I can, build up on what you're saying. So I was writing it so I can let you speak.
Okay, and that, like, when you unmask yourself, like that takes some work, because a lot of people don't want to work at unmasking themselves. That takes a lot of you looking into the mirror. That takes a lot of, having quiet time with Source, having quiet time with God, Allah, whoever you want to call, who you answer to. It takes a lot of time, but a lot of times people don't want to be still and be quiet and try to connect with God as Source. They don't want to take that time. But when you take that time and you be still, that's when you will find out who you really are.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think, one of the things with I've been trying to listen to the Naked Girls a little bit more frequently, and that's the whole thing too. And I think in terms of what society, one of the things I find Shamika Michelle saying that I definitely agree with is, society is especially the Black women. Society has communicated it literally is like the top 10 negative things to Black women about Black women. Everybody is copying us, but how we, should disapprove of ourselves for the exact same thing that everybody else is getting: our noses, our mouths, our bodies, all of those types of things that they communicated that we're not enough and we're not good just the way we are. But now everybody is doing all those things and marketing them as as a new trend. So it's those types of things too. One of the things that she keeps saying about, in terms of understanding that, as I like to say, it's a truth and it's a lie. that they have communicated to us, all of these things that we're not, and that we have no power, and those types of things. And we have to get out of what I call negative self-talk, that we have talked ourselves, even the stories in our head, based on a lot of times what isn't even what we've said about ourselves, it's what somebody else has said about us. So then we go, okay, maybe I am this, maybe I am that, or you got to wrestle with it, or you have to rationalize it in some way. So that's the thing, in terms of, you have to just constantly be conscious of just making your own. I like to say sometimes, we say the boom boom room and the vortex. I even like to say, make your own Disneyland, make your own Candyland. Those little, we saw those little kids games and it looked fun on, but we've gotten away from that because somebody told us to grow up. But a lot of times our fantasies have to be like that. They have to be a cartoon. They have to be a Disney movie for us, in terms of, as we're climbing out of these things, that is not all ghosts and goblins, that is something else, that is something good, in terms of who we are and how we talk positively to ourselves, to say we are great, we can do this thing, we can, one thing we do today, even if it's just getting your butt up out of the bed, is a start. And and letting that be enough, and and not saying that that's not enough, especially if we've been dealing with depression. Because sometimes I used to have to say that sometimes when I was doing the counseling thing and stuff like that. Well, when you get out of bed, compliment yourself. If you having problems getting out of bed, you might just need, that was really good. Even if you got up to go to the bathroom, compliment yourself for getting up and going to the bathroom, because at least you got up out the bed. Some people will lay there and have a, or even worse, if they're really deep in depression, maybe they won't even get up out the bed. They'll, wet the bed, or be, in their 30s and choose to wear a pamper, not have to wear a pamper because of some medical issue, So those are the types of things. And then even with that, you got to find a new set of roles, because if you are in that place, you might have to be able to just say, okay, I got up, I sat up in the bed for, 15 minutes today, because, that's all I was capable of doing. It does have to sometimes be baby steps, but you really do have to reward yourself for that. And sometimes people are that deep in the sunken place from the Get Out movie. I don't know if you saw it, but they're that deep in the sunken place where they have to come out of that. So I'll let you wrap up. We're at our time.
Okay. No, but this is a really good discussion. The last couple of days I've been enjoying our discussions, because it's getting a lot out of me, just having somebody, like I was talking to my brother. I mean, you might have your girls or your homeboys or whatever like that, but they're not at your level. They're not spiritually awakened, and you might love them, but they're just not there, and they're not feeling what you're feeling. So it's like when you get with a group of people, you're like, oh, so you think like how I think, we vibe on the same level. We can talk about stuff.
Mm-hmm. And grow together. And it's not that every single day is perfect, but we do want to start sharing. That's the one thing that I am going to start encouraging us to do is, talk about something that's going on, or something that we're working on, even if it's just a little bit. Try not to be vague. Say something specific that we can put out there. I even wanted to have a theme and that we can keep building up. And I'm going to start that tomorrow. I've been waiting for the momentum to build, but that's the whole thing. I'm doing that again, when you start waiting and then you end up not doing what you initially set out to do. So tomorrow I'm going to try to, we have something that we can share with each other, that we can build on and be co-creating. I'm got to be, obviously I can't come to West Virginia. You say you're in West Virginia, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I can come to West Virginia, but I can just say, okay, we building up on that every single day, and whatever we co-creating or something that you want to do, and I can share the same thing. And then there's some other things like just putting something out there that we can co-create on for either Turner's Church or somebody else, because you always want to be doing, instead of paying them fake ass ties to the church. No offense. Pay ties to, the changes that are being made. So something we can do for Turner's Church, or send a good vibe Turner's Church way, or send a good vibe Javon's way, or something like that. And those are all things I had, planned, and I continue to have planned and can do. And, it's been me, you, and Dina. She still seems to be here. So hopefully we'll get her online with us soon as well, face to face. But just keep chugging along. I'm gonna be here. So if you're here with me, I'm here. Fine. Otherwise, you'll see me talking on the days you miss. but you can guarantee I can guarantee there'll be a video here.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So until tomorrow, same channel for everybody. Same channel and same time. Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good evening.